Hey, welcome everyone. Today is Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time. This is what we refer to as Career Happy Hour. So, Career Happy Hour happens every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific, because I'm here to give back to you as a community to help you, find jobs fast or get promoted or actually present yourself more professionally speaking in your organization. And so, if that's you, then please let me know in the comments or the chat, depending on where you're joining from. What are some of your questions? If you have any questions at all, I'm here to answer. This is like a, how would you call it, an ask me anything kind of session. So if you have questions about career, about interviewing or marketing or finding the right company or negotiating, or how do I give my notice and not get blackballed, that kind of thing, then please, by all means, put those questions in the comments, whether you're here live or watching the replay. I do monitor those. So if you have questions, please put them in the comments, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you're welcome to send me direct message, depending on the platform that you're on, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or on Instagram on my mobile device. So yes, I am indeed multi-streaming. So Career Happy Hour today, I get a lot of people this week, and it's interesting to me that this week there were repeated people that really were unclear about who they were and what they wanted. And I recognize that that's hard to identify. Sometimes it's hard to put your finger on something. And so, yes, I was really thinking today about the concept of answering the so what question. And that means anything you say to somebody regarding your brand or your career aspirations, whatever those might be, answer the so what? So what that you want to do those things? Give me more context, something to go on, something to really sink my teeth into when you start describing your inspired future. Now, so we're going to walk through some concepts, some ideas here today, and I'll share some of that with you. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Andrew Beach. I'm an executive career coach. I'm a teacher of self-education. I help professionals like you find out who they are and be able to communicate that better to other people, to find greater opportunity faster, to land new jobs, to be really well positioned professionally speaking. And so I do that through a pragmatic process. And if you're interested, and you might be, there is a link below for you to fill out an application to come coach with me. So if that's you and you're interested, I just had a new client start yesterday, and really excited about engaging and helping people get to where it is they would love to go. And sometimes that's just increased awareness, more confidence, a little clarity. Sometimes that's interview preparation, but depending on your needs, I can certainly put together a program or a plan that works for you. So that's my endorsement or my advertisement for the Career Happy Hour today. And if you want to contact me, my handle is indeed on the screen, or you can do that through the bio on my Instagram. For those of you who are joining by Instagram. So answering the so what question. Here's what the genesis of that is. And let me just kind of share that with you now so that we can kind of walk through this concept. And certainly if you want to come on, you can actually get live coaching. Yes, live coaching right now by me. Just click the link in the description. So here's the thing. Here's what I've realized in all the years that I've been doing this since, about 2005, and all the thousands of people that I've coached, is that people will accept you at how you present yourself. So let's think about this for a moment, because I've done it too. Don't get me wrong. I have said some of these things. I would never fill in the blank. I would never work for XYZ company. I would never do ABC job. I'm not really inspired by this kind of work. And so we end up giving energy to the things we don't want. And people will accept you for that. They'll take you at your word. And so the same is true if I don't want something. I don't want to work for XYZ company, or I don't want to do these things. And so we start using these statements as a way to communicate to people that we don't want something. Or even worse, we come with uncertainty. I don't know. I'm unsure. I'm confused. And so they'll accept you at that. I remember Andrew, he was confused. I know what he doesn't want to do, and he sounds confused. And guess what? That's the memory that people will have for you at that point in time. And it can be a lasting memory unless you adjust. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Sometimes, and this isn't like it's invalid or somehow wrong, none of these things are actually wrong. What I would say that is that there's always some better way to present yourself, and not uncommon, especially if you're in between jobs and you don't currently have employment, that you call yourself a job seeker. And that may be true. However, it is not something that allows your audience to help you. As a job seeking professional, I'm not interested that you're job seeking. I'm interested in, hey, what problem do you solve? What challenge do you help companies overcome? Where are your strengths? Your strength isn't job seeker. I can assure you that my profession isn't job seeking. It's coaching and training and developing people. There's a lot of things that I'm good at that I enjoy doing that isn't under the umbrella of job seeker. And yes, if we communicate to people that we're a job seeker, that's what they will remember about us. So think about that for a minute. You could have met somebody once at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and all of a sudden you say, hey, I'm between jobs. I'm a job seeker. I'm looking for this kind of work. But what they remember is job seeker. And you'll see them maybe a year or 2 years later and say, hey, are you still looking for work? They didn't remember anything about you other than the fact that you were in a space where you needed to find work. And I'm not saying that's wrong or bad. What I'm suggesting is that's what people will remember, and they will accept you at how you present yourself. And I would do anything but Excel spreadsheets. That's the other one I hear a lot. Anything but what I just did, or anything but the industry I came from. And often it's not uncommon that if you're between jobs or you're not happy where you are currently, that you're looking to run away from that thing. And that certainly is a natural response to a stressful environment, right? Flight or fight. And some people, it's flight. I'm just going to fly out of this place, and I'll do anything but work in an environment like that, or work with people like that, or work a job like that. Not that these feelings aren't valid. They are. There is just a time and a place to healthily process these kind of emotions. And it's not in front of key members of your network or a hiring team when a job's on the line, during an interview, in your cover letters, right? There's a time and a place for everything, and certainly a way for you to do these things without actually being diminishing your value. And so think about it from that perspective, so that we all really have something to offer. And think about what it is you offer, not what it is you don't offer. So think about it from that perspective. So let's go a little bit deeper here, because this is really a conversation about branding. And some of us aren't really comfortable with branding ourselves, but I would think of it this way. You're not branding yourself as some product or service or something to be sold or that sort of thing. You're trying to identify an identity. So you're trying to articulate your identity to another human being so that they can remember you. That's the whole point. And we'll get there in just a second. But there are things that you can communicate that are better than what we just talked about, like what you'll never do or what you don't want to do. And so one step better than that is using things like job titles, right? So I am an executive coach. Is that a valid expression? Yes. So is, I've been in sales. So I am a sales representative, or I am a BDR, or I am an accountant or a financial analyst. Is this valid? Yes, it's valid. It's perfectly valid. I think we need to consider the outcomes of that kind of a presentation, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I might also answer with industry. So I am a career coach in the human capital management industry. Okay, so that's great. I know what sandbox you play in and kind of what you do inside that sandbox. And so it's a little bit narrower, a little bit better. I can even go down to the company. So title at company, man, that might actually help somebody see or understand what I do. But honestly, that's what people will remember you for. Remember, we talked about that before, that as you present yourself, people will remember you as that thing. And as a title at company, When you're no longer at that space or in that space, you now have some splaining to do that, hey, I'm not at that place anymore. That's not really my identity. This is my identity. And so there's this identity dissonance, if you will, that I'm calling myself a title at company, and that's how I identify. That's how I've branded myself as that thing. And I would really encourage you to elevate that standing. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the idea is title at company, some of these things, the work that you do, or even the keywords that appear on your resume, if we're using that as a branding mechanism, we're really leveraging sameness language. And sameness is something that is not what a brand is built upon. And so if every car manufacturer said they manufactured automobiles, then they would all be the same. So some of them don't say they manufacture automobiles. They manufacture the ultimate driving machine. So they're selling something over and above what everybody else is. So think about that for a second. What makes you better than, not a better person, right? But more competent than other people in your industry, in your company, in your domain. And using, yes, keywords are valid. All these things are valid. Just think how you want to be remembered. How do you want to be remembered? And is it helping you or harming you? Is it getting you closer to or further away from your objective, whatever that might be? And so certainly if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. If you want the live coaching, I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. I recognize, by the way, that at least in the United States here, we're kind of in a holiday week. We just had our Independence Day on Monday. And so a lot of people are on vacation, and our attendance at these sessions might be a little less going into summer. But certainly if you have a question, I'm happy to answer. Go ahead and put those in the chat, if you would, please. Now, when we're talking about what would be an alternative to some of these thoughts or these ideas, I've come up with a simple thing to think about when we're going through this process. And that is answering with something that's heart-centered. Heart-centered. What is it that you love to do? And I do use that kind of expression a lot. I love to understand people and then help them interpret that understanding in a way that makes it easy for others to understand. That's what I love to do. I love digging into people's personas, understanding them, and allowing them to see that persona as something positive and good and virtuous. And then being able to communicate that to somebody else is really something I enjoy doing. I've kind of honed my skill in that space. So heart-centered. Think about it. What it is you enjoy doing, what you're good at, times when you're maybe feel like you're invincible, that sort of thing. Professionally speaking, of course, I'm not talking about, jumping out of airplanes or that sort of thing. I'm just suggesting, professionally speaking, what is it that you enjoy doing? And sometimes we feel like we don't have permission to do that. Well, for the sake of this video and this learning, I suppose, give yourself permission just for a few moments to think about what it is you really enjoy doing and being okay with that. You're being okay with that. You're saying, okay, for this exercise, I'll go ahead and put that aside and we can talk in that manner. So yes, it should be heart-centered, something that some purpose or thing that you believe you were put here to do. And certainly that should be aspirational to you. If it's exciting to me, if it's something that gets me juiced, if you will, or energized, is it not something that's going to then energize other people? And we overlook that a lot, don't we? We overlook the fact that I've identified this thing that I really enjoy doing. It's now influencing my nonverbal communications. I'm smiling more. I'm coming with more energy. Recognize when you're displaying these kind of things, because we could act like we believe these things when they are not true. And so that's where being in alignment in terms of your preferences and your aspirations and your heart-centered purpose, I think that alignment is something that's going to come across as genuine, authentic, who you really are. And it's not keyword driven, not at all. And I would, avoid, if I can, any buzzwords or, things that might be keywords on your resume, that sort of thing, and make it a lot more conversational. That's why I initially settled on, I am a teacher of self-education. I help people learn about themselves. That's what I enjoy doing. And so the type of heart-centered aspiration I have took an expression that's a little more conversational. People know what a teacher is. They know what self-education is. And when I mash those two things together, what do I get? I get a brand that's in many ways memorable. It's not career coach or executive coach or that sort of thing. It's teacher of self-education. So you know, inside of career coaching, what value it is I provide. And if you can do that with yourself in your own profession, I think you'll see similar results, that people will start seeing you as that thing. And you repeat that message enough, and guess what? People will remember you. They will say, hey, I know Andrew. He's that teacher of self-education guy, you know, that's always doing live streams every Friday. And I get people telling me that back, because they may not make the live, but they certainly tell me that they maybe watch the replay. And I do appreciate that, whether you're here live or in the replay. Leave a comment, say hello. But the idea here is, if I make it all of these things, heart-centered, aspirational, talking about my preferences, not just my skills. I have a lot of skills. I have a lot of capabilities, and there's things I'd prefer to do over other. Could I write it as a career consultant or career coach? Could I write a resume? Yes, I know how to write a resume. Is it something that I prefer to do? So, and the answer is no, I don't prefer to do resumes. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people on LinkedIn that can give you that support. I'm just not the guy to give it to you. Why? Because it doesn't give me value. It doesn't give me fulfillment. And so think about it from that perspective. If your preference is not giving you fulfillment, not energizing you, then the question is, why are you doing it? Well, it's a job. Okay, I get it. But what's one step better than that? Should we stay static? Should we not change? Should we just accept our status the way it is? Or should we challenge ourselves, stretch a little bit, and go for something that we think is a little bit better than what we've got now? I think many people just get really complacent, and in some ways they're lulled into this sense of comfort because it's something they know, and that's valid. I've been there too. I would just say, take a moment, and if it's hard for you, maybe you need some support. And if you're that type of person that needs the support, go seek it out. I'm happy to support you if that's something you're interested in. You can direct message me. You can fill out the application you see down below, or you can even come on this session live right now and ask me your questions. What questions do you have about this topic, about presenting yourself in a way, and being okay with that? Now, the other part is, how easy is it to get these things figured out and practiced and rehearsed and internalized, so that they seem natural for you to deliver. Instead of saying something like job seeker, I've now switched over to saying, I am this teacher of self-education. It's something that I can then say at the Chamber of Commerce meeting, that someone comes back and they say, hey, are you still doing that thing of helping people find themselves? Right. So, it's really kind of interesting when you develop your expressions this way, that people come back to you with how you presented yourself. So yes, answer the so what question, and do it in a way that gives you energy, joy, enthusiasm, and strength and confidence. We could all use a little more confidence today, can't we? I know I can, and you probably do too. So if you want, tell me how you can be better served by what I'm providing here. Put that in the comments or what have you. I tried out the ticker symbol here today, going down the bottom of the screen. So hopefully you appreciate that. Now, if you want to connect with me, you can do so. My handle on almost every social channel is Branding Dynamo, meaning personal branding. So Branding Dynamo is my handle on LinkedIn. The only one it isn't on is YouTube, because you have to have 10,000 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 watch minutes. Anyway, if you want to go over to YouTube and watch all the archives of this, that would be great. Just look up my channel on YouTube, and then I would be happy to support you in that way. Welcome to the Quad Cities. What does that mean? I don't know. Oh, from the Quad Cities. Got it. Okay, Quad Cities. I'm thinking, where is that? Now I know where the Tri-Cities is. And so that's Kennewick, Pasco, and Richland in Washington. I know where that is, but where on earth, Scott, are the Quad Cities? So anyway, you'll probably tell me here in just a minute, but I do appreciate you coming, and I'm here every Friday, 3:00 Pacific time. And since this is a short holiday week, I'll cut this short, and I'll allow you to have a great time with your friends and family, enjoying the rest of this weekend. So we'll see you next Friday for Career Happy Hour. And until then, stay safe and do your best.